Welcome to the Business of Black Business, a talk show that interviews Black entrepreneurs and advocates for Black business. The topics of conversation include access to capital, best business practices, success stories, and more. Now introducing our host, Mr. Jay Reynolds.
Hi. Got a question for you. Are you an emerging business, minority business, a woman-owned business that is trying to do business with some of the largest companies in South Florida? Would you like to do business with some of the largest companies in South Florida? Are you a certified CBE that has not been able to crack that code yet? Today, we get to discuss a new initiative that's designed specifically for companies like you. Hello, my name is Jay Reynolds. I own and operate Wolf Creek Consulting. We are a top-ranked executive staffing firm, primarily placing professionals in finance and accounting, IT, and healthcare. And welcome to the Business of Black Business. Now, this show is designed to help Black entrepreneurs and would-be business owners and entrepreneurs navigate that kind of difficult thing about how to start a business, how to grow a business, how to sustain a business, how to make it profitable. It's a unique opportunity to gain access to hear directly from successful business owners as well as thought leaders that can actually help you to grow your business. What's important to me is that I want you to hear it directly from them. I want you to be in the room where it happens. So today, first of all, we get the unique opportunity to talk to Melida Akiti. I love that name, Melida Akiti. I just absolutely love that. And before we get started, I want to thank our sponsors because we certainly could not do this without those guys. Demesman and Dover Personal Injury Attorneys, Career Source South Florida, FAMU, Medical Marijuana Educators and Research Institute, Solid Waste Authority of Palm Beach County, and AARP. You guys have been with us for a long time, and I really, really appreciate your support of Legacy Magazine and this program, this podcast. Melida Akiti. Now, I looked at your profile, right? I could probably spend about 3 hours talking about who you are. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to let you do that. But I'll read a quick snippet about who you are. As the Vice President of Ambulatory and Community Services at Memorial Healthcare System, Melida manages a network of primary care practices and urgent care centers that impact the delivery of medical care and treatment to residents in South Broward and beyond. Now, today we get the opportunity to talk about a really, really amazing initiative. And I'll real quick snippet about that. The Health Foundation of South Florida, the region's largest philanthropic organization focused on achieving health equities in historically underserved communities, has announced it is investing $1.2 million to launch a AI-powered tech platform designed to help increase contracting opportunities for local and minority-owned small businesses at regional anchor institutes. I know that's a mouthful, but let me tell you what it says to me. The guy who's been in the business, has owned a small business for 22 years. We're talking about leveling the playing field and taking subjectivity out of it. And Aaliyah, I am so excited to hear your perspective on that and to talk about it. So before we get started, please introduce yourself to our viewers and tell us about yourself. I mean, not the stuff that shows on your resume, but talk to us about your background. Who are your influencers? What makes you you?
Thank you, Jay. It's interesting because my zeal is the community, and today meeting with you and we're talking is basically my role as the chair of the Health Foundation of South Florida. I'm the first Black Hispanic woman that is the chair of the $150 million foundation that has been in this community for over 20 plus years.
Wow.
So in that role, I am excited because I can be able to influence our minority community. My trajectory as a professional has been, I've worked at Jackson, impacting not only mental health, but also our community or the marginalized community. All of my career has been focused on supporting marginalized community. I also sit on the board of the CHANET, which is a large, which
Wow,
includes all of the,
ChildNet. The
I'm the
800-pound gorilla in that
I'm the
space.
past board chair of ChildNet, and that includes Broward and Palm Beach foster children. And you and I know that 80% of the children removed are our children.
They
So
look like us. They look just
exactly,
like
they
us.
look like us. And so that is one of the plight that I've had. And I'm blessed the fact that I work for an organization like Memorial now, also that my role is to be able to provide health care for those that are marginalized.
That is so amazing. And then some of the names that you've thrown out there, like ChildNet. ChildNet is actually a client of ours that they do the heavy lifting, and there are companies out there that's kind of a passion of mine, right? Dealing with kids that are from foster care, kids in distress, Handy, ChildNet, or the three charities, if you would, that I spend my time and my efforts to raise money for, because it's turning a switch, right? It's the opportunity to turn a light switch on, and you change, like you mentioned, the trajectory of a kid's life. Talk to me about your professional journey a little bit more. Where did you go to school? How did you decide to do what you're doing right now today?
Oh, well, I'm originally from Panama, and anyone that knows anything about Panama know that it's a melting pot.
It's
Um,
beautiful. It's beautiful.
Beautiful country with a melting pot. You have people from every single island, including. So I have West Indies background. I have Hispanic. I have everything. I'm a one-woman shop in regards to diversity. And so I studied. I did my master's degree in Panama in psychology. I relocated to the. I used to work for the U.S. Department of Defense in Panama, and then I relocated. I got married. My husband is from West Africa, and so he was studying here. And then I relocated from Panama to the United States, and started my career in mental health. I have also got another master's degree at Barry University. I'm a licensed clinical social worker, even though I have not done therapy with anyone since I started, because I have gone immediately into administrative role. And
Right,
thank
right.
God that
Where you
nobody
need
was
it.
doing exactly. Thank God I was not doing therapy with anyone, because it would be a problem. So, but the thing is, what I felt is that I could make more impact at the administrative level than the direct services level, because I could influence the funding that could go and help individuals. So I worked at a place named Fellowship House. Then I worked at Jackson for over 10 years. I was the vice president and executive with mental health and correction health and the ambulatory. And after that, because as a mouthful of what I was doing, I then started working at Memorial. And I have been working at Memorial since 2011. And you know my title. And what I do that I enjoy is that not only I take care of the primary care of the underserved, but also the uninsured. And I'm in the middle of building the most important program that I think that we can build, and that is a sickle cell medical home.
Wow.
Because sickle cell affects Black and brown people, and South Florida is the strongest, has the most numbers of sickle cell in the nation.
I gotta tell you, you have your hands full, right? So Dr. Benit, what's her name? I can't remember, but she runs a sickle cell program in Pembroke Pines, and was one of the few programs that I had ever heard of, actually.
Right? Yes.
She's amazing. She's actually amazing.
Lameta.
That's exactly right.
I
I'm
know
terrible with names, right?
Don't worry.
I remember specific things about people. I can tell you a lot about her. Been to her house for parties and stuff like that.
Oh yes, yeah.
Yeah, but terrible with names. Let's talk about let's cut to the meat of this thing, because I got to tell you, you got a whole lot of people with pens and paper just ready to hear about this, right?
Good.
The two counties pulled together this initiative of players, of anchors, to basically do this. First of all, it's got to be really difficult, whether you like it or not, they are competing in some cases.
Mhm.
How did you get all of these huge anchors to come to the table in an effort to basically do this when it's such a competitive marketplace?
Well, um, the good thing is that we do not believe in a cookie cutter. Everyone comes in according to their needs.
Hmm.
Some of the anchors came in because of their mandate that they had to improve their diversity.
Hmm.
Others came in because there's a labor shortage. Other came in because they saw that financially it is extremely profitable. I was hearing someone from the Biden administration that stated that as a nation we lose over $11 billion by not promoting minority-owned organizations.
Absolutely.
So financially, was a good investment. So everyone came in for different reason, but everyone knowing that this was on the bottom line. They always say, "Show me the money." Bottom line, it was going to be financially advantageous for all.
Got it. That and you know that's a mindset shift. That's a mind shift because it's people didn't have not always looked at it that way. So I'm really really excited about this program from the perspective of being a small business owner and being from the perspective of having other small businesses, whether mom and pops or whatever, be able to at least get to the point table where they get a seat. You know, they get a seat at the table, perhaps. Talk to me about the marketplace, how it works, right? Every when I first read the article, it was fairly, I read the article 4 times because I wanted to make sure I clearly understood that we're talking about a level playing field because I have some questions about this whole AI thing, right? And I'm a technically savvy guy, at least I like to think that I am. I have some questions about that. But tell us how the marketplace works.
And I know you had to read it 4 times. Trust me, when we started this, I had to excuse me, because I had to make sure that I got it
So it's
good.
not just me, right?
No, 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 no. It's not you. It's not you. It's not you. It's because every new concept is become challenging, and then after a while, you're like, "Dot, yeah, that's a simple." So I want to give you the simple version because I believe that simplicity is the best method to be able to get everybody on board. First of
Good.
all, um, the anchor institutions are institutions that, if you think of a Hurricane Andrew, devastated, so they devastated, but Jackson Health System was still there. Jackson was still there. The major employers, hospital, Miami-Dade College was still there. Broward, in the sense of major Memorial was still there. Major institutions are still there. So
Hmm.
how do we get anchors? Is because these major institutions, regardless of, they are anchored down, they are shipped down in regards to they're going to be there, and they're our largest employer.
Right.
So being the largest employer, we got all of the anchor together. We have like 19 of these anchor institutions, which are large employers.
Wow.
Um, some of them have 10,000, 12,000, 14,000 employees, and the procurement is in the billion. Imagine
Hmm.
Miami-Dade County is part of the anchor. Broward County is part of the anchor. So when getting the anchors together, we knew that we had to be able to look at procurement. That's the essence of all these big organizations, their procurement department. That's where the money
Right. Right.
flows. So in looking at a small business, the first thing happened with a small business, you're so busy trying to keep your head above water that who has time to be able to go and look at all of those sites of 4 different companies to see which one is doing procurement. So
Right.
in creating the marketplace now, let's go to the marketplace. In creating the marketplace, we asked the 19 organization, who wants to be part of the pilot? And because everything, we have to start with the pilot. We think it's a great idea, but we have to do a concept paper to make sure that it does work.
Hmm. Hmm.
So in doing that, the anchors got together, they did the procurement of a software company, and the software company is now in the what we call the marketplace. So the marketplace are the 10 organizations that says, yes, we are going to open our procurement to have a one door entry where a small business will go into the marketplace, into the web-based setup, to be able to then fill out the applications, one application, one
Yeah.
for all these
Yeah.
10 companies.
Yeah.
You
We'll
can
talk about
imagine.
that in a second. Yeah.
Exactly. That is what this is all about. This is about us creating a mobility for small businesses, not to have to visit 10, 12 sites, but one site in the marketplace, and be able to touch on all of the different organizational businesses.
I think that is so long overdue. Number one, right? Now, there are companies. Let's say for companies that are more sophisticated or emerged companies that have people in their offices. Their job, in many cases, is to make sure that they have all of their certifications up to speed. That they're going into Broward County, they're going into West Palm Beach, they're going into Miami, they're going to Jackson, Broward Health, or whatever, making sure that they are filling out the correct information and following the bid opportunities, right? There are companies like that that do that. And I mean, I have a person in my office that's one part of her responsibility, to make sure that we are always up to speed as it relates to our CBE, our SBE, and Demand Star and BidSync and all of that stuff. Exactly. Now, there are companies out there, right, that don't have the ability or the time, to point that you made, to do that. This allows them to be an entry point. Now, yes. I have 2 points that I want to make. Planting seeds to some degree. The number one is that we have to make sure that people still understand, as I understand it, you still have to be an SBE, DBE certification in order to be able to get the door to join the marketplace. Is that correct, or is that not correct?
No, there's no certification to going into the marketplace. None. Okay. And those are the barriers. By the time we finish with every certification, we're exhausted. And the thing is that we still have to meet payroll. And so the thing here is that the goal of the marketplace is to be able to one entry, but in addition to that is to provide the support needed. The Health Foundation is investing $1.2 million to be able to support the small ma and pa business, to be able to play with the big guys without that financial investment.
That's new news, and that is perfect. I'm glad to hear that. Now, I'm planting seed kind of comments, or trying to anticipate some of the questions that the viewers are going to want to know. First of all, this show is about Black businesses. How is this marketplace going to help Black businesses?
Jay, as you know, the majority of small business are minority owned. Yes. Let's start there. Yes. And knowing that, our goal is to be able to, because right now we have hired, I think, 3 different marketing companies to make sure that the word go out, and that we are touching on, even this show, coming to this show, yes, is to be able to touch all over Black owned businesses for them to know about it. Because and sorry for bringing up church, but the Bible says that my feet perish because
you don't have to apologize to me for that.
Okay, but I'm saying, I just have to put in that one, because the issue is that we don't know what we should know, and that is the reason. And what we want to make sure is that those little mom and pop, they are going to be at the same level. They're going to be standing tall in this marketplace, because we are leveling the playground. And so they will know, they will be a part of it. If they need assistance, we are going to provide that assistance to them. They don't need to hire someone to provide it. We are providing that assistance to them. This is not a $500,000. This is a $1.2 million. And when I spoke to my fellow board members, I said, look, we are going into this full. This is not about, at the ankle level. We are going into this. We are immersing ourselves into this because it must be successful.
I got to tell you, there's music to my ears. And I got to reiterate this to the people that are listening. You do not have to be an SBE, DBE, have those kind of certifications to get into this marketplace. You just need to do what you have to do in order to get through the door and join it. It is a one point of entry, to use her term, one point of entry that has never been done before. Never, ever been done before. Now, I got another what if question that I've been asked, okay? Talk to me a little bit about, let's say, for example, there are many cases out there where companies will develop these companies that are designed to get past the AI, meaning that what they will do is that they will bring a company, they will front something, and it'll get past the algorithms, and all of a sudden you have this company that is, let's call it, appears to have really strong financials, all of that stuff, but they're really not a minority-owned company, just a company that is designed, built to get past the AI. And I know that's kind of a loaded question. I get it, but it's the kind of questions that I'm asked. Okay.
It's not a loaded question for someone that has been, it's not a first rodeo and around the block. And I get a 20% of my wife's grandfather, that the grandfather was an American Indian, and then I go into, and I might not, we all have seen.
You get it then. You get it.
I got it. And so the thing here is that we know we are set up to be able to do our due diligence. And the word is due diligence. And,
right.
And we are setting up this to be able to impact our small minority-owned business. And so that game sadly is being played and has been played and will continue to be played. And that is the reason why we need this. Because what this does is that it takes away the headache to big companies to have all of that investigation to make. So because when they put out the procurement out there, they are just trying to get that secure. Our job is to do all of that homework for them, and being a trusted partners, which we are, they know that whatever comes through this marketplace, they know that it is correct and it is not a game play. So and it will help, and it's helping these big companies to really procure minority-owned business. Because at this time, many of them know that the game is being played, but because the way the system is set up, it doesn't really allow them enough information and time to do all of that due diligence. We have the time, we have the information, and we have the resources.
I think that's very cool. And I got to tell you, it is one of the things that I think that when you look back over your shoulder a year from now, that's going to be one of the things that will show up on your report card, is how did you do against that due diligence? How did you do against making sure that people don't game the system, right? Yes. We got to make sure that people don't game the system. And quite frankly, as a guy who's seen it happen a million times and have had to compete, had to compete with companies that were set up that way. We understand let's call it the drawback. We understand how that can negatively affect your program and your program being successful. Talk to me a little bit about the 1.2 million that you mentioned a couple of times. That money is designed to build the infrastructure, or is it? Can you walk us through how that money is going to be spent?
First of all, the software is being used in some state in California and other places. So it's not like we are building. This is not building the demo. So this is already out there. What we're spending is one on support, because when a small minority business go in, they're going to need support. They're going to need somebody to guide them. They need some hand-holding. Sometimes they need actual hand-holding in order to be successful. That is part of the budget. The other part is the update of software, and what is needed to keep it functioning. The other part is to be able to just make sure that we those due diligence that I discussed, those extra investigative role, let's call it that way, that is needed. So everything that 1.2 million really is hands on deck.
Got you. That's awesome. Thank you very much. That was very, very direct. I think I understand it. I got to ask you, this is one of the questions that I was asked too, as I was talking to people about talking to you. We were talking about it. One of the things that, let's say, for example, if you take a look at some of the projects in Broward County and Miami-Dade County, if you own a construction company or an electrician, or you're a glazer, or even to some degree own a janitorial firm, if you do any of those things, and if you are a company that basically have built some infrastructure, and you are literally really trying to build a business, there's a really good chance in Broward County, Palm Beach, and Miami that you can get a deal. You can get a contract. Professional services, on the other hand, whether you're talking about accountants or you're talking about staffing firms, shameless plug, or you're talking about so many different things, from photographers to, which you use all of those things. This marketplace is going to use all of those things. Yes. How are you going to ensure that that some of the money goes to some of the things that outside of the normal construction contracts, where we seem to see a lot of the money going? Or is that a question that you can even address at this time, because you haven't been there yet?
Well, one of the things here is this, and I think is an issue of what you said earlier when you said that everything is being used. Many of our small business don't understand that the group that we have gotten together, like Miami-Dade County, Broward County, Broward Health, University of Miami, use all of those professional services.
Absolutely.
So the thing here is is that what is being advertised, what they need. Is that I think that every small business, construction or non-construction professional, should be part of this marketplace. Why? Is because it's like when I start working, they have to do a headshot. And that's a photographer. That
yes.
has to visit. And so the thing here is that the people don't realize, it's like, oh no, they're basically building rooms. No, we not building hospitals. No, it's all of these soft areas that we do in the professional business. So I really don't want people to start thinking that this marketplace is only for certain kind of business. This is for every single business. If you dream it, look into the marketplace to see if is one of the 10 organizations are actually putting up bids for it. The thing here is that you should always, this is about looking at the bid in one place.
Right.
In one place, right. Instead of 10 places.
Right.
Because
and Melida, I think it's just interesting to hear you say that. So people just need to hear you say that, because what happens is it dispels the rumors, right? It dispels all the stuff where it goes away with people have this feeling that's just it's a different mousetrap, but it's the same mousetrap, right? Yes. For me, I really get, and this is a person who's kind of been through that a little bit. I can tell you that this feels different, looks different to me. It feels different, looks different. I'm excited.
It is. It is different, and it's a first. That means that it is real. And the Health Foundation has a corpus of 150 million. If we had 170 million, but you know how the market is going. So the thing is that, but our 150 is hanging on strong. And we have said that we are all into this. So we want to make sure that the sad part of it is that we have built it I hope they will come. I hope the
Oh,
small businesses look at it and don't say, oh, you know what, now this is for these people.
it's
No,
another mousetrap. It's the same. It's just like they're trying to pull an okie doke on us,
exactly.
like they would say in the neighborhood. It's trying to pull an
Exactly.
okie
What's
doke.
the worst that
Yeah.
can happen is that you miss out on an opportunity. It's not costing you anything. That's the beauty of this. It's not costing you anything. On the contrary, we are the one investing. You can imagine someone says, Jay, I want to invest. The only thing you have to do is your company. You only have to manage it. You're like, oh my goodness, who died and left me all in charge like this?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
the thing here is that we are the one investing. We are the one that is putting
Yeah.
out the money. The only thing we want from you is that we want you to come on board. We want you to put your business out there because you are a small minority business that don't have the resources like the big guys to do procurement the way it is done right now. It is time for us to level the playing field. It is time for these big companies to be able to say, we really want minority run business, the mom and pop stores that can make things happen.
I got to tell you, Melida, this is so very cool to me and so different. I don't want to keep saying the same thing, but I know I feel like I'm saying the same thing, but it is very different. And I'll tell you the reason why. Quick story. What I have found is that, as you know, luckily being in the room a couple of times where you're having discussions with companies about diversity and inclusion within purchasing, right, and being able to have a candid conversation and say what you think, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then what happens is that you find that there are certain, let's call it champions, or people who become champions of whatever of that. And they literally will live and die by it. Gino Santori is one of the people that I can remember. Gino was like a real champion and
Yes.
moved the needle at Broward Health, where
Yes.
for years and years and years and years and years, people talked about it and nothing was done. So this is an opportunity for us to really kind of leapfrog having to have a champion in some of these big organizations, because you don't necessarily have to have somebody driving it like a Gino anymore. The process or the marketplace is going to give you that access. So from the standpoint of seeing, it feels different to me. And I can tell you this, that that we will continue to preach this gospel every chance we get. We'll try to see if we can get the word out to make sure that Black small owned, not just Black businesses. I say that only because it's in the name, but minority owned, women owned businesses get access because they deserve it.
That's true. Thank you.
So, all right. Well, I do need to do a couple of other things before I let you go. I need you to give me. I want to give you the last word. Give me 3 things that people should know that we haven't discussed, or things that you want to highlight. Let's call it some secret sauce. You have the last word. Tell me. Give me 3 things.
Well, the first thing is that, and it's one and two, is that we have invested $1 million in both in Miami and in Broward, Miami Dade College and Broward College, to be able to advance the education of minority in the field of healthcare, and that, as you know, healthcare is financially viable. We will always have healthcare, but we have a lot of minorities that are not able to complete their education due to the fact that they may not have a babysitter, they may not have certain social determinant of health that is blocking their education. We have invested $1 million in those two. And the third is that it's just another plug-in. This is free. This is not going to cost you. Be a part of it.
Yes, that's very cool. Thank you very much. I can't tell you how much I really enjoyed talking to you, and as well as the candid conversation. You're very candid, very direct, and I appreciate that. Before you go, I need to pay the bills, right? So I want to thank Legacy Magazine for making this important. Dexter, Aaliyah, all of you guys that stand behind this effort, I really, really appreciate you, all you do. And I get tons of feedback from people that they are watching the show and it has helped them in some way, shape, or form. So I really appreciate that. So I want to thank Demesman and Dover, personal injury attorneys, Career Source South Florida, and Career Source South Florida. I say this each and every week. These guys, they post jobs on their website that you can actually apply for. Jobs that are fairly well-paying jobs. There's a night auditor security, $37 an hour. There's a business manager home health, $36 an hour. An academic advisor, $26 an hour. A service center coordinator, $22 an hour. Administrative assistant, $20 an hour. A employment security rep, $19 an hour. Youth support staff, $15 an hour. Starbucks barista, $14 an hour. A teller, $12 an hour, and a merchandiser, $12 an hour. And again, these jobs are posted and updated each and every week on Career Sources South Florida's website. Go to the website and definitely apply for some of those positions if you're looking for something, because you may find exactly what's right for you. A couple of other things that I want to do is I want to plug some of the other shows out there. What I love about what Legacy Magazine does is that they've identified a bunch of things, a bunch of programs, and they've latched on to subject matter experts. And these guys have great shows. On Tuesday, there's My Money, Your Money at 7 p.m. with Bridget Lumpkin. On Wednesday, there's Soul at 7 p.m. with Nikki Gillen. On Thursday, there's Lunch with Legacy Leaders, 12 noon with Anne Marie Sorrell. My boy Chef Ari does Taste of South Florida at 7 p.m. And finally, we have a relatively new show, Black Health, hosted by Dr. Michelle Kerwin, Fridays at 2 p.m. But all of these guys are thought leaders, and all of these guys are subject matter experts. Go to the shows, watch those shows. The cool thing is that most of these shows are getting between 5,000 and 8,000 hits a week, which means that they must be providing good information. Now, last thing, Melida, I can't tell you again. I know you wear a lot of hats. You do a lot of things. Thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us and share this information. And again, my commitment to you as another small business that's trying to open door for small business, we will definitely get the word out and continue to get the word out and help any way we can, because I strongly believe that if it is to be, it's definitely up to me. So see you guys next week, 1 p.m. This is Jay Reynolds, Wolf Creek Staffing. This is the Business of Black Business with Melida Akiti. I can't say that name enough. I love that name, Melida Akiti. Anyway, thank you very much, Alida.